Hello everyone, my name is Gordon for Kite Reviews, and today I have a kite to review. I hope you're going to find this one useful because it's going to be a little less praiseworthy, shall we say. This is the Kitty Hawk Kites exclusive 9-foot Delta kite. I'm a big fan of Kitty Hawk kites. They're where I kind of got my game started here, and this is one of their exclusive models. So I'm not sure who makes it, and we don't get a particularly good data package with it, other than to say that it's a 9-foot Delta. It also does not come ready to fly. The packaging, for example, I think this was the packaging, which is wholly inadequate to the task. I don't even think it has Velcro to close it, and it's very cheaply stitched. It's basically unusable if you're doing any sort of regular flying. Maybe if you pull this out once or twice a year, this is gonna be fine for you. But unless you're doing that, you're gonna end up buying like a nicer kite bag. So this is just like a Kitty Hawk Kites kite bag, which works great, but it's not really tailored for this kite, so you kind of have to live with that. It also is an extra cost that you're gonna have to incur. It also doesn't come with a ring or flying line. And so, as a result, you're going to have to come up with that yourself. You can come up with a cheap ring and some line fairly cheaply, but I also bought this Kitty Hawk Kites reel, along with some pretty serious 200-pound test line. I think it only needs 80 to 100, but this is my biggest reel, and so I want to have some really tough line on it. So let's get into the kite itself. You can buy it from Kitty Hawk Kites, like I said. I think the price point is right around $55, which, if you're keeping track at home, is a really reasonable price for a big Delta like this. A 9-foot Delta. This is a 12-foot room, and it I have to leave it here because I can't hold it and point things out to you because it's just too big. So, from that perspective, it's a really affordable option. Like I said, the packaging and the ready-to-flyness is a problem, unless maybe you already have all that infrastructure. If you already have a nice kite bag, if you already have some reels and stuff like that, maybe then that's really appealing to you. It has all the features any big Delta ought to have, or attributes, should I say. It flies in low wind quite well. I'm talking 6, 7, 8 miles an hour. It flies very nicely in that kind of wind. Once you get up into the medium winds, the 12, 13, it does have this nasty tendency to do this shaking motion. You can see it just kind of like wobbles, and so when gusts come, it can be a problem. One way to solve that problem, I've found, is to put a lot of tails on it. And these are some prism tails. This one's a 75-foot, and then the two ones on the ends are 25-foot rainbow tails. And they look beautiful, don't get me wrong, but that's like probably $50 worth of tails to put onto a $50 kite in order to get it to fly reasonable in medium wind. As a result, I kind of consider this thing a low wind specialist, and I only fly it when I'm worried about nothing else taking off. And in that role, also in the role of, it does have great lifting capacity. It has a ton of pull. You can lift almost anything with this thing. You can put line laundry up. You can put, like I said, crazy amounts of tail on it. So it can be very visually fun kite, and very versatile in that role. Even in, like I said, relatively light winds, you can really get a lot of line laundry up on it. But that's all stuff you have to buy as well. And so if you're seriously into kiting, maybe this is a great kite for you. But I also would not recommend this as anybody's first kite, or even as a second kite. I ended up buying it actually for my second kite because I had at the time the expectation that it would be everything my previous Delta was and more because it's so big. And it really did not deliver on that promise. Like I said, that wiggling problem is very real. I'm not sure what we could do to modify it, other than I suspect that this joint is the problem. You can see here that it's actually torn the ripstop there, and that's just like a fabric on fabric connection. There's no bracket there, there's no strength there. It also received some damage over the last year or so that I had to repair myself by hand sewing. This ribbon, this tie needed to be sewn back on after a little while too. So it's not the most robust or well-made kite in my inventory either. But it does have some really great tendencies. I love the Rainbow Ray pattern. It comes in several other varieties, stained glass, patriotic, things like that. And it can lift all sorts of cool stuff. So I think it has a place in the kiting world, but it isn't the catch-all that I have thought it would be. And that's really, I think, sums up this one. I don't want to be too harsh on it, because I came into it with big expectations, and if you don't come into it with big expectations, it may be a great kite for you, especially if you're looking for a low wind to maybe middling wind flyer. I think as long as you go in with those expectations, and you probably already have like a lot of kite infrastructure like bags and reels and tails and stuff like that you like to fly, I think then it could work out really great for you. But until then, I can't recommend it to anybody new to kiting. There's Kitty Hawk. I don't even want to shit on Kitty Hawk either. They sell some great kites as well. Big Deltas. A little bit more expensive, but honestly not that much more expensive, and the use you could get out of them is much larger than this one. So I have a hard time, like I said, recommending this one to anybody new for a first 2-3 kind of kites. But if you're looking for a low wind specialist or a high pull lifter, something like that, this kite could be great for you. But other than that, like I said, as like a new kite person, I would steer you away from this. And I won't say too much, but I would point you towards Prism, to be honest, and we're going to get into that later. But that's what this thing is. Like I said, it's an imperfect kite to be sure, and I don't want to harsh it too badly, but it did not live up to my expectations, and so you need to keep that in mind when you buy a piece like this. So, anyway, that's my review of this kite. So thanks for watching. Like I said, my name's Gordon for Kite Reviews, and I'm really working on trying to grow this channel and help people out with the kind of information that I was looking for a couple years ago when I started kiting. So, and this is not a criticism of other kite programs or other kite YouTube content. Just this is how I digest information, and I didn't really see anybody else producing this kind of content. So that's what I'm hoping to do with this channel, and if you like that, please subscribe and share around to your kiting buddies and your friends and stuff. And with that, I'm going to conclude the review. So thanks for watching. Like I said, my name's Gordon for Kite Reviews.